Leo, welcome to a relationship reading for February and March 2021. It's Rena here. Don't know what else to call it. I actually just got booted off of my other phone. So they keep saying that there's not enough room. It's a bug that I can't get rid of. So I'm just going to do it all over again because I don't want to have to go through all this rigmarole. Okay, so this is for people who are in relationships that are, fading fast, or if you have broken up with someone or somebody has broken up with you, and maybe you're just kind of either talking to that person or just fantasizing about, what it would be like to get back together. And the purpose of this is to really make you think about that, because reuniting with someone in some cases may be absolutely appropriate, and sometimes it can be, the worst decision a person can ever make. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy it. So where the relationship stands right now, or how it fell apart. The Three of Cups can be a card of a womanizer, or if you want to say the female equivalent, I said that a hoe is not the female equivalent of a womanizer. This is somebody who is chronically unfaithful. There's a drinking component. I said the drinking bone is connected to the cheating bone sometimes, or it tends to be. So if this person likes to go out and carouse, that might be something that has led to problems overall in the relationship, and maybe you kick their butt out. But regardless, there's a social aspect to this with the Three of Cups, and it may feel like you don't have enough time with them or whatnot. In these types of situations, if you did kick out that person for reasons like infidelity and or drinking, substance abuse, they may come back and say, I'm sorry, you're perfectly right. I really screwed up. You're totally correct about that. Will you accept me back? Now, they didn't say they're stopping drinking. They didn't say they've joined a support group. They didn't say that they're what they're going to do to solve that problem. They just apologized. So this is the kind of thing that I'm asking you to think about in terms of whether you take them up on it. It's not just the fact that they may be quite contrite in expressing those feelings. They may be, but they also may not have any intention of changing their ways. And that's where it can get really tricky. So be clear on that and make sure that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And even when you're fantasizing about the possibility of going back, maybe you would love to go back and they were the ones that ended it. Ask yourself if you really want to go back to this type of experience. The other thing, too, that is connected to this is just a general sense of somebody who may be allowing friends to influence them unduly, and that can lead to there being a lot of people putting their 2 cents into the relationship that shouldn't be, that sort of thing, which can lend itself to creating a sort of interference in the relationship. So just kind of nail that down and see if that is something that is going on. Because if it is, then it's going to be something that is going to plague your relationship in general. And it could just continuously do so. So don't feel like if that person misses you and they apologize and want to come back, if they continue to have these friendships, that those people may be a bad influence and they're allowing it in their lives. So that has to be said. I want to make it clear before I go on that I'm not here to demonize one person versus the other. Even with the Three of Cups, if somebody is very social, that doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Even if you feel neglected, Leos tend to want a lot of attention showered upon them. Doesn't make them wrong and you right. Some people are very independent and they don't need a lot from their partner. They just enjoy having a partner. And so everybody has different needs. It's just coordinating those needs. So I just want to make that clear. How you see them. The Judgment card, it can be this sense of like, this is what I get. This is the, this is my karma. Maybe you see them as a karmic relationship where pain is something that is just natural to the relationship, that it's naturally a difficult relationship. Be very careful about that, especially if you have planets like Venus or the sun in the 12th house, even the moon, where there's that Saturn, there's that sense of destiny or fatalism that sometimes, or if you have planets in Pisces like the moon, Pisces rising, Leo, where you have a tendency to feel like you're the victim of fate. Watch out for those tendencies, because what can happen is you can choose to accept things that you should not accept. And because of that, you can put yourself in or volunteer for pain that is not yours to bear. It may have been true that you attracted that person into your life because maybe you do have a karmic tie, but I don't think karmic ties are really that mystical. I think they're just like in this lifetime. We have a tie to the people that we choose to invest energy in. And so even if the relationship is a shit show, I mean, if it's something that we're investing our time and energy into, it's going to persist. What you concentrate on increases. That's part of the law of attraction. So I have no reason to not believe that this is the same from lifetime to lifetime, that if you continue to, pour your attention onto a person, that they will show up in your life again. If you stop, putting your attention on them and start, going in a different direction, I think they will fade into oblivion. Am I right? I have no idea. That's just how I feel. I think it will at least improve the situation. But I'm just looking at it from your perspective, like how do you see that person? And this is a card of rebirth. So this may be like the straw that broke the camel's back. Maybe you've had a series of relationships in a similar vein. Leo, one thing that I can't help but note is that the Devil card is right underneath the Judgment card. So maybe your judgment is impaired because of lust. Leo is a sign that I feel has a very high libido. And I use as an exhibit A, Mick Jagger. And some people that have a high libido, we just say, oh, well, they just have a high sex drive and just like, that's the end of it. But I do believe that sometimes it's more than that. People used to laugh when we would talk about sex addiction when it first came about, because people were like, are you kidding me? That's like such a bogus thing. But I think that there is a compulsion in that area that comes about because a person is really looking to fill themselves in some way. And just like, they say for people who are overeaters, what is eating you? Not what you're eating, but what is eating you? the same thing can apply to somebody who is being excessive about sex. What are you really looking for? Are you looking for attention? Are you looking for some kind of... The card that represents how he sees you is the Chariot card. And it's interesting because I did get this in the same position for another sign. And the reason I find this interesting is because how I would interpret this based on Leo is that you tend to be a successful person. And sometimes these types of people who may not feel so successful in their own right may be trying to feel better about themselves by, anesthetizing themselves or, having affairs. Maybe that to boost their sagging self-esteem if they're comparing themselves to you. Because Leos tend to be very intimidating, You tend to be very confident and ambitious and therefore successful. And that person may not feel like they measure up. And is it possible that you judge them for that? I don't know. I'm sure not all Leo people care if the person that they're with is as successful as they are. Perhaps some do. And so you have to, I always say to people, look at how you were treating that individual, but by the same token, how they may feel about themselves. And if, in some cases, if somebody is a narcissist, a full-blown narcissist, they are going to use infidelity as a way to make their partner feel less than and to feel, like they're not measuring up. And so what often happens when somebody feels that way is that they will have a tendency to act as though they are, how can I put it, like not worthy, and they simply try to prove that they are in some way. So there are people who are looking for their partner's acceptance, even though that person has no intention of giving it to them, because they have that sense of, oh, you're not, this or that, I don't need to give you the time of day. I don't need to give you that kind of respect. So just looking at it from that perspective, I think that it can be something that it can make you understand that their issues are not necessarily because you were inadequate in any way. And when I say necessarily, they aren't because of that. Now, they may be they may be in part because of the dynamic between the two of you, of course. I mean, it's not just a one-way street, usually. I mean, there's usually other things that are going on. But you don't have to blame yourself and take all the responsibility. And sometimes these people will do exactly that. What the biggest problem in the relationship involved is represented by the King of Pentacles. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that this is how that person was. They may have wanted to be this. So even in the upright position, somebody who wants to be wealthy, and this is a combination male-female energy. So let's talk about gender, especially about older people over the age of 40. If the man is not making as much money as the woman, and this is especially, I will say this, Leo, if you're involved with a water sign or an earth sign male and you're a female, Leo, that can really be the case, where they are seething at the fact that you are maybe they're out of work and you're the breadwinner. because they tend to be more traditional as men. I'm not going to say all of them, but this is just something that I have noticed. I may have even read this someplace, but I definitely feel it in my bones that they tend to be more macho. So it's much better if a Leo and a water sign, a feminine sign, they call them feminine signs, the earth and the water, whether they're male or female. If a masculine sign woman is with a feminine sign male, it's not impossible, but it's going to be more of an adjustment than if a feminine sign woman is with a masculine sign male, because that goes more in alignment with what they represent. So it's kind of like you're bucking the trend, and this is what happened with Lucille Ball. And I just was watching a portion of an interview with her yesterday, and that's perfect example, because Lucille Ball was a Leo, and she was married to Desi Arnaz, and he was a Pisces, and their marriage did not last. And he was a womanizer, and he was a drinker. And she said during the interview, and she was with her second husband, she goes, he was a loser. And, he wasn't, and I don't like that word, but she didn't mean that he never accomplished anything, because she gave him credit for building up their TV empire. But apparently she meant that, I think what she meant was that he couldn't handle his success, so he had to self-destruct. And this is, that's the story of a Pisces that is not balanced, is that self-destructive tendency. So she perceived him as weak. And then he had, problem, I think, with philandering and with drinking. So if this is kind of what you have been dealing with, understand that person may not feel good about themselves. They may not feel like they have been given enough credit in life. Maybe they have childhood trauma that's unresolved, what have you. So just, if you were the one that was so supposedly rejected by them, and you're kind of feeling like, wow, maybe they really care after all, ask yourself if it's a good idea. What's coming in is the Devil card. Now, this can be temptation. If this is somebody that you had a strong sexual chemistry with and they want to see you, be careful, because you might end up, weakening your resolve, and that could indicate that perhaps this relationship is something that is it's keeping you in a sense of bondage. So don't be somebody who feels like you have to be with that person, even if you feel that strong pull. Be very careful. The advice actually is perfect. It's like, this is a card, be on the lookout, the Page of Swords. What are they saying? Try to listen to the underlying message, not what they're saying on the surface, but see if it really adds up, what they're saying, their reasoning for what happened, their, all of that. Sometimes you have to do a little detective work. If they are saying something and they lied to you before, it makes sense to see if it, if you're on their social media and you see they said this happened, does that match the time frame that they're talking about? Things like that. It's a shame. To me, it's a sign that you probably are not meant to be with that person if you don't feel that sense of trust, if the trust is so broken and so, suspect in your mind what they say. But it's really about digging deeper, or kind of investigating, I would say, more than anything. And the outcome is the High Priestess, that you are going to tune in turn on, drop out. You're going to tune into your higher self. You're going to tune into your intuition. Something may come about that makes everything more clear about what was really going on. Perhaps there's something that still has not been revealed that has to be revealed. But anyway, I hope that this gave you some things to think about, Leo, in this process. And sorry about the train, but I just want to get this out here. So anyway, if you would like a private reading, the link is below. I am primarily an astrologer, but I am promoting a combination reading that involves the tarot, full-length tarot reading, full-length natal chart interpretation with transits for 2021, called the whole Enchilada. And it's for a special price because it is 2 full-length readings. It's not that they're cut or anything like that. And I have a deep dive reading, which are 2 chart readings, extended transits, extended interpretation. There's other readings for a special price. There's other readings as well. So you can check it out at the link below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.